Hi there, everyone, and welcome to the Goonies Podcast, where we talk about anything and everything. Tonight, we're joined by none other than Bryce,
Hello.
Hayden,
What's up?
and of course, Preston.
Hello.
So, y'all, for Christmas this year, my sister decided to get herself Age of Calamity, the Hyrule Warriors game. And I myself have already played that through and through as far as the story goes. But that game, as well as the original Hyrule Warriors, has an immense amount of missions to play. And honestly, I tried getting into like the side content of the game, but I honestly could not get into it. And that got me thinking about other games that I have 100%ed in, lack of a better word. And, I just want y'all's opinion on how y'all feel about if there are games that y'all like 100%ing, or what 100%ing means for y'all when it comes to games, and do y'all enjoy completely playing games through and through?
It depends on the game.
Yeah, true.
Because, there's some where it's like, oh, yeah, find hundreds of these collectibles just scattered around the entire game. And that kind of stuff kind of turns me off. It's like, God, I really don't want to spend, 10 hours today looking for these collectibles or something like that. I don't, I don't really enjoy that. All right, so to put it into perspective, years and years ago, whenever I played Assassin's Creed 2, I had so much fun with that. I was doing all the achievements, and then I got to the last two. And these last two achievements that I did not get, one of them was find all of these certain collectibles. I think they were feathers. I think so, yeah. Find all of these feathers, and then the second achievement was wear a cloak in every city that you got from collecting all the feathers. And I and I mean, I was going to do it, and then, old Xbox games, I'm not even sure if they do them now, but you move around the Xbox or something like that, and then it just destroys your disc
Yeah,
by
yeah.
cutting a ring on it. So, yeah, I lost my Assassin's Creed 2, and I was like, well, I beat the game a lot. I have every achievement except for 2. I don't need to buy it again, because at that point it had already been out for like a year or two, and I was like, I don't really need it. But I think in terms of difficult games, like I mean, Binding of Isaac, for example, you have to play it a lot, and of course it's very difficult. You have to do a lot of things and whatnot. So that's one thing. It's a gauge of your skill and dedication. So I feel like if you were that into the game, you should indeed 100% it, because if you're going to be playing it a bunch already, you might as well. It gives you some sort of challenge as opposed to playing the same old characters and doing the same old things and blah 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 blah. It kind of spices it up if you keep playing it enough.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from with the whole collectible thing. Because in one game that I think I played for about a month back in September was Horizon Zero Dawn. In that game, the base game already has a lot of content as is. But what else that game includes is a massive, I mean, absolutely massive uh, list of collectibles you need to collect throughout the game. And these things range from like holographic note cards with like character stories and all that to hologram video files or audio files and all that. A ton of like old relics from like the past, the dystopian world that they live in, and all that. And yeah, no way I would ever. I don't think I'll ever do that in my lifetime and collect all those collectibles. Like there are, I think, at least up in the 200 plus of collectibles in that game. The base game, by the way, no, that is not including. I think the DLC adds another like 80 or something. Like I should send like a picture to y'all later just to see how absolutely stupid like the amount of collectibles there are in that game. As well as that game has a ton of side quests, errand quests, a lot of things you can do out in the field, hordes of monsters you can fight, or hordes of machines I should call them, that you go out and fight, bandit camps you have to go out and clear, main quest you have to go and do all these quests that add up to more than 100 hours of gameplay. But that's not the kind of gameplay I care about. And needlessly finding things that add no contribution to the story or make my character better. What's what's a coffee mug gonna do to Alloy? Like, how on earth is that gonna make her any more powerful? I don't see the point in that. But doing quests that help build up chemistry with the characters in that world, weapons, upgrades to bows and arrows and all that, those I can stand behind. But finding coffee mugs and dog chains doesn't really
Right.
add that much content, nor does it really make me want to keep playing the game. But that's just
Yeah,
that's just my
exactly.
opinions for when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because you need like an incentive. Because I know what a lot of games do. They hide collectibles around and they give you information on like lore or certain things that happened
Yeah,
previously
exactly.
or maybe alongside. Yeah, it's like there's some sort of incentive there other than like, oh yeah, I found this and I found that and then it made my game say 100%. Woo! It's like there has to be some sort of substance to it. You can't just be like, well, I picked up this data chip, except the data chip was blank. I mean, there's nothing in there. Like no, if you're gonna get something and go out of your way to find something, it should be able to offer something worthwhile.
Yeah,
Like
and Horizon,
I'm not gonna
Horizon.
play this.
Oh, sorry.
Like
Go.
I'm not gonna play this game and then go find hundreds of collectibles and then get literally nothing for it. Like make it worthwhile. Add to the plot. Like maybe you have the main plot. It's very streamlined. I guess it's very descriptive of what you're supposed to do, and it lays out a good plot. But maybe there's some things on the side that like still contribute to that main plot that you wouldn't know unless you found these collectibles and then it tied it in and you're like, wow, that makes sense. Like that would be good. Or hell, I know some games have these collectibles that you can find that maybe give you new weapons or armor or something like that. And it's like, wow, you don't need it, but it's cool and you can still use it. Like that kind of thing just makes collectibles more bearable because it's not like, well, I've done everything else in the game, now I just have to travel around and find all 425 of these stupid little collectibles and I don't know where they are. That's annoying.
Indeed.
I feel like there are other things where just collecting everything can be fun. Like the first thing that comes to my mind with that are the Lego games. We're getting like all the mini kits in Star Wars doesn't do anything. It gives you a little Lego ship, but I think it's more the journey to find all the collectibles and
Yeah,
then
that's
seeing that you got all the collectibles that's fun. And then in like the Arkham games, there's a whole bunch of Riddler trophies, which can be annoying to get all of them, but it's still fun to figure out the puzzles to all of those to get all the trophies.
Yeah, and I
But if
think.
it's just like,
Ha-
go
oh,
ahead.
sorry, you can go, Preston. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, I was just gonna say that I think it's just if you make it more of a challenge or make it fun to find collectibles instead of just walking around places and
Yeah,
getting things, or more than the Zelda Koroks where like
yeah.
put a rock in a circle, go
yeah.
walk atop this
Do
tree.
that 900
That doesn't
times.
do anything. I'd rather
Well,
not.
and I think it's weird when you talk about collectibles because there are certain genres I think handle how collectibles work differently. Like I think, collecting all sets of armor every type of weapon and spell in like a big open world RPG is very different than collecting all the hidden like stars or whatever and like say like a platformer like all those like hidden like coins in Mario or uh, like breakable statues in River City Girls if anyone's ever played that. It's just more of like going out of your way to find them and getting the like it's the way they handle it is, the tedium of doing it can be very different. And I think the act of, seeing that counter go up of finding things is different than just collecting a million like useless things in like an RPG, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But
I guess also Preston. Oh, go ahead, Hayden.
well, I was gonna say, like, there is a difference, like, between like getting the 100% completion in game and getting all the achievements of a game. So what do you guys think about, like, the difference between that? Because, like, say, like, I know there are lots of games where it's like just to get the 100% completion on, like, the game, save slot is just finding all the collectibles and beating all the bosses and all that. But the achievements can range from, like, oh, do this specific thing or reach this combo, or, you know do like this with this, like, beat the game in a certain amount of time. So do you think, like, is like what do you take on the differences between that?
I think okay, so because a lot of games do like have those one of those locked achievements be collect all of our collectibles in our stupid game and it does nothing for you. But for games that don't do that, they have other ways of getting around it. Because like take for example Divinity Original Sin 2. I play that game a lot and I do want to 100% it, get all the achievements. It's very difficult, not because I have to. Well, I mean, I do have to spend a lot of time, but it's not like I'm spending that time finding collectibles. I'm spending that time to beat the game multiple times. So I have to play as different characters, and I have to do certain things in certain areas. I have to kill this person or kill all these enemies before this happens, or blah 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 blah. So really, I'm going to enjoy that because I do love that game dearly, and it's not going to feel as tedious for me because I'm doing multiple playthroughs. I don't have to sit there in one playthrough after I've done everything and then go around and try and do all this other stuff. Like, no, I just start a new game with new characters and then I get those achievements. And then I do that, and then whenever I'm done with that, I start a new game over. And I can try out different things because, in that game, there's classes. Like, you can be a warrior in one, you can be a ranger, you can be an elementalist, you can be a mage. You can do all of these different classes. You can make different builds. So there's that variety in each playthrough, and you can change up how you like the things that you do, all the events that you come across. You can change how you react to those, what you do, who you attack, who you don't attack, who you help. There's that certain variety in each playthrough that, yes, the overall plot is still the same, but each playthrough has those differences between them, and it makes it enjoyable because it's like, oh, if I were doing the same playthrough every single time, I would get completely bored out of my mind. I'd be like, wow, I'm a mage yet again with the same character as last time. Oh boy, can't wait. Like, no, I'm going to be a mage, I'm going to be a ranger, I'm going to be a warrior. I can just do whatever. And that right there means that it's like you put the time in, you dedicate yourself, and you feel rewarded because you're trying out these different play styles, you're doing things differently than before, and it feels nice. As opposed to spending all of your time doing the same thing, just finding like collectibles or whatever. It doesn't feel rewarding, which is why I don't like collectibles in games. Like if they're if it's a small amount and you're going to run across them very easily, then yes, fine. But those ones that are purposefully hidden around and they number in the hundreds and it's like if you get nothing out of it, I don't see the point. I don't like it at all. Like, make your game enjoyable. Maybe some of these achievements could be skill based, like, oh, get a 50 hit combo without this person ever touching the ground or something like that. Or beat the game on the hardest difficulty without dying or whatever. Something like that. Because then you feel challenged, and then whenever you do it, you feel rewarded because you actually got something out of your time playing. If more companies like game developers did that, I would actually be more compelled to 100% their games because I feel like it's worthwhile. Like if I'm playing a game, I like the game, and I'm probably going to put a lot of time into it. But if I put a lot of time into it and then I find out, well, if I want these achievements, I just have to sit there and grind away, spend all these hours just getting stuff that's not like worth it, then what's the point? I'm just gonna drop it right there.
Well, I think a point in favor to collectibles for me at least. I feel like a lot of the time, like when I love a game enough to where it's like, okay, yes, I want to, do everything I can in this game. It gives me an excuse to like explore the world or environment that I'm in. I know a lot of platformers like Mario use the collectibles that you can achieve as like a challenge, like you were talking about, of like, oh, you want to get this, where you're gonna have to complete the level in a more difficult way, or look more thoroughly for secrets to unlock. But I think even with like standard, like just go around this world and look for what's here and what glows when you highlight over it. It gives you, at least it gives me an excuse to like explore more and take my time memorizing these environments, and I feel more connected to this thing that I like enough to do that for.
I mean, it's to each their own, and obviously I respect that. It's just, I mean, think about it. If you've ever played like GTA 5, you think of the size of that world. Imagine if you had an RPG and it's like, well, you got 400 of these sticks that you gotta find, and they highlight whenever you look at them, but we won't tell you where they are, so go find some. It's like, oh, dang. Like, like, what do I get out of these sticks? Well, you get like 400 sticks. I mean, all right.
Yeah, right. It is like to go back to like the Korok seed. It's like almost like, I think even the creator said like you're
I
not
think
really
so.
supposed
Ugh.
to complete the game. You're not supposed to find everything. You can, but it's like it almost feels sometimes like the point is not to try and get everything, and that's when even as completion heavy as I am with stuff, that's when I start to lean off and like, okay, it's a bit too much even for me.
You're weak, Hayden.
Yeah.
No, but I guess my thing
Do you,
is more so. What's up?
I was gonna say that you got all the Korok seeds.
Yeah. The strange thing about that was like, it was at that point it was like to a point to where like I didn't care as much because I had already collected so many of the base game as is, and even like it was more so just a routine than it was like a grind fest because at that point I'd done pretty much everything I wanted to do in the game. That was just the only thing I really, I guess, could bring any form of new like excitement. I guess was like, and it definitely forced me to explore like parts of the world I didn't even know exist. But at the same time, it definitely got very like the same thing over and over, and I just don't like it when games like overstay their welcome by doing that. Like at least if there were less Koroks, they could have made to where like they were much like there's as is. I think there's like a whopping 10 different challenges you can do to get one, and while some of them are
Mm-hmm.
definitely unique, doing it over and over again, 900 times, got old really fast. And like, I'll go back to Horizon real quick. To 100% that game too, there's a side quest that was a slap in the face to me. Because there's like these training camps that you can do. And it's like, do this task in 20 seconds to get the gold rank. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. And then I go to this one tavern or whatever, and the girl's like, you must be a max ranked hunter to get this prize, and it popped up with the side quest menu. I was like, and sure enough, the side quest was to get gold rank at all the training camps. I was like, oh my god. So that literally, I just don't like it when games like have you repeat a lot of stuff to fulfill them. I'm like, that's just so repetitive. So I just got to keep doing these training camp missions over and over until I get under a certain time. that's just how they feel to justify to make it feel rewarding for how much time you're going to spend collecting and fulfilling it all. I don't really care about that. And Preston mentioned Lego Star Wars, or I think the Lego games. I do like 100%ing Lego Star Wars because it's very satisfying when you do collect everything. But I'm also going to give that game a little slap on the wrist for doing the free play. You play like each level, I swear. I think whopping 4 times if you want 100% it. Because you have to do it normally, you have to do it with free play, with the blue mini kits, and then the last time,
all the way through.
and then they make you do the super story again. And the super story is where I draw the line every time I play through. Because I'm like, oh my god. I always forget. They always make you play it the vanilla way again, one more time for each mission. That just felt like such a waste of time with how much unique content there is in the post game. When you can do like the bounty hunter missions, collect 1 million stud missions and all that, and that just drags me down so much.
Getting all the gold bricks in Lego Star Wars is reasonable. I think that's where I drew the line, because then you didn't need to do the challenges or the super stories, but you needed to do basically everything else.
Yep.
And that was still fun and reasonable for
it's not as ridiculous as Horizon, the Expectations Horizon, Breath of the Wild, and I'm gonna be honest, the game that still to this day bums me out with how it's 100%ing is handled as Mario Odyssey. Like I've come to really, like, you want to talk about another game that makes you repeat, like, I swear, the same at least dozen challenges just in different maps over and over again. It's that game. Because when you really dice it down, there's a lot of ground pound here, throw a seed into a pot, find the bird, or find like the little cap guys that are hiding in the crowd and all that. That game has a lot of repetitive content amongst all the worlds, and when you were 100% it twice, I started noticing it my first time too. But it was the second time I 100%ed that game just to kind of get my final opinions about 100%ing it that I realized, my god, why is it so repetitive when it's supposed to be a big collectathon game? But that's my opinion, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. I mean, now that I think about it, the only real collectible that I enjoyed getting was probably from like Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, and that was the sea shanties. Because, I mean, those things were great because, I mean, fast travel was a thing, but nobody wanted to fast travel. They're just like, you know what, I'm going to listen to some sea shanties. Like, might as well. And, I mean, they were like a collectible of sorts, but it's like you could listen to music while you were on the seas, and that just felt nice. Like, the music was great. And you're like, I don't mind sailing from this island to the other because I got music, you know? Like, my crew is singing for me. And I don't know, that, because I was just thinking to myself, like, man, when have I ever, like, enjoyed getting collectibles? And I was just thinking, like, sea shanties, Black Flag. Yeah, it makes sense, because, I mean, you did have to collect them in different towns, but then they actually had a use, and you could listen to music while you were sailing. It's like, it's a win-win for everyone, which I think could lead us into our next topic.
Yep.
Iconic soundtracks in games.
Does it have to be iconic or like our favorite?
What do you think is iconic? Because I know if Russell were here, he'd be like, Doom, Doom, Doom. But like,
well, I have been listening to the Black Flag, the sea shanties on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to those a lot.
Yeah.
I think on my Spotify year in review, sea shanties were my number 5 top genre.
Wow.
And there are just so many good sea shanties in Black Flag that I listen to so many of those.
They are so good. They just make you want to get the boys together and just sing some shanties.
Well, it's interesting thinking of iconic, because like if you know you want to go into some of the most iconic, I mean, you can go to like Mario theme, or that first level theme that everyone knows, or a lot of the old NES games and SNES and Genesis games, are pretty iconic, especially like when you consider a lot of that music and the limitations that they were working with, and they still produce stuff that, like, I mean, still sounds pretty good. Like there are some
Everyone knows.
like 8-bit, sound, like music tracks that I sometimes like more than when people do like new renditions on like the guitar or something like that.
Yeah. Like Pokemon, for example. Each generation has like its own thing, and they are iconic in their own way. So I mean, they're great because you have like Gen 3, where he's got, what is it, trumpets all the time and water. Yeah. Well, I forget what that IGN rating was. It like 6 out of 10? Too much water. But I mean, when I think of iconic, I honestly think of Kingdom Hearts. Because I mean, I didn't grow up playing it, but I grew up and I happened to play it, and like the main menu music always just kind of hit different. Even now, I can sit there and,
Dearly beloved.
yes, dearly beloved. I I could sit there and listen to that, and I'm just like at peace. There's just something about it, because like maybe it's from my child, maybe it's because it's from my childhood, but like there's just something about that song and like the Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 soundtracks that I just, they're so amazing to me. I don't know. There's something about it. And then I think of other iconic stuff, and I think of like Halo. Like there's no way you can't say that Halo is not iconic. I mean, everyone knows the main menu music from Halo 3. And like I don't know, the impact that it has. I mean, I won't say that, some freaking choir singing or whatever it may be. I won't say that that's like evoking any sort of emotions out of somebody other than like say nostalgia, but like it sits pretty high up there in terms of being iconic, because you feel like it kind of defines Halo right then and there.
Yeah, when you hear it, it like puts that feeling of the like what Halo is, of playing as
Yeah, like
the
it
Master
doesn't even
Chief
need
and all.
words.
Hmm.
It just sounds, and you're like, yes, that is it.
Totally. I think like having like, even if it's just that one song, having that one piece of music that when people hear it, they think of your gaming franchise, is like, I think that's a really important thing that might get looked over sometimes, is that when you're playing, and sometimes if it's, especially if it's something you're going to hear a lot, either because you're like, this is a level you'll be coming back to because that's where you get put when you die, or if it's the like opening music like in Halo, it's like you want that one thing that when people hear it, they think of this.
Or like in Pokemon, when you walk into the wrong house and you fight Cynthia.
Yeah, yeah.
It's how you know you messed up.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and it's especially like themes like Lavender Town, where it's like that's something that haunted people. I mean, it's still like, I don't want to hear it this late at night. It's a creepy theme, but it left an
Yeah,
impression
you're like,
in the
"Oh,
minds
no."
of people. Like when they hear something like that, they're like, they get chills. Hmm.
Indeed.
I also
Um,
think it's good when soundtracks give, like, the entire soundtrack evokes a
Hmm.
certain like feeling of that game. And I think two that come to mind with that are like Persona 5 and Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, because those both,
mm-mm.
I could probably tell you more of Persona 5 songs, but they're all
Hell yeah.
like, kind of vaguely jazzy and lead to a certain
Well, 'cause it's
feeling.
like
And then Metal Gear,
because each like it's not even
or you
just. Well, I'm gonna go with Persona 5 real quick with you, Preston, because I've played through that game I think multiple times together, like through and through, and like it's not only the jazz. Like that game has such a variety of music, like for everything. It's not just all jazzy music. They have songs that kind of evoke happy daytime feeling when you're walking around Shibuya and all that. Each palace has its own unique theme and feeling, and each they have like songs that convey like what these people are going through, and it's such a different variety of music. The boss battle themes, all the like character themes and all that, they each have evoke a different emotion. And of course, you have the lyrical songs that are the most iconic, of course, as performed by Lynn. I mean, she's a very good vocalist, and yeah, but you how many times you've heard those songs we played, because that's just how memorable they are.
the
And
battle themes.
even though the battle themes, the boss battle themes, all River in the Desert, they've all like I haven't played any of the other Persona games. I really do want to play 4, but you have to admit they are probably the most iconic, only because of how mainstream P5 really kind of is out of all of them. But I'll leave that be.
Which, I mean, okay. I'm going to say this because Russell is not here, because I know that if he was here, he would pitch a fit, but I don't think Doom soundtracks are that iconic. I mean, don't get me wrong, they are good, but if somebody didn't know Doom, they would be like, what's that? Because, I mean, people don't know Halo, and they can just be like, oh, yeah, that's cool. I mean, it's kind of like a bad example, but, like, I don't know, there's something about Doom, because, like, Doom, and then you listen to that, and you're like, oh, yeah, that's cool, that's badass, but, like, if at the same time, it's just like, well, I mean, it fits Doom, but I really only want to just listen to it whenever I'm murdering things, or I want to get pumped to murder things. I don't really.
Pumped.
Yeah,
I mean, heck,
it's music that fits more into the context of what you're doing in the game rather than something that you want to listen to on its own. I
as I said before, I'm saying this because Russell's not here, because this dude, in his free time, listens to the Doom soundtracks, and I'm like, Are you okay? Is something going on? Like, do you want to hurt somebody? I don't understand.
I mean,
Like,
they get you pumped up. Like if I'm in the right scenario of like I need some like motivation, like I need to get my adrenaline pumping or like feeling that like intensity, I'll put on a Doom song or something.
No,
like
he
that.
just listens to that like on the daily. I'm sure he'll be sitting there like, I don't know, doing whatever. Maybe he's like reading manga or something, whatever he does. And he's just listening to the Doom soundtrack. And I'm like, I don't think that really fits. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You gotta
Because, I mean,
believe.
yeah, the Doom soundtrack's cool. You have freaking chainsaws in there. Like, of course, that's cool. But, I mean, whenever I listen to the Doom soundtrack, I just think, like, man, if only I were badass. But then I listen to other soundtracks and I'm like, man, this hits deep.
I guess also, I mean, whether or not I know this game kind of like is somehow still kind of a hot like topic when people bring it up, but you've got to admit Undertale's soundtrack is also in most recent years is like a soundtrack that for an indie game.
I mean,
especially
that one definitely is.
really came out of the
deserves to be
blue,
called
and
classic.
it has some really amazing songs, which is kind of funny because a lot of the songs are just renditions of each other, but definitely a lot of those songs, how many times have you heard Megalovania in the past 5 years? Like,
Are we counting as a meme?
I mean that exactly though. Like it sticks out so far that it's reached full on meme status. Like it hasn't like it's probably not gonna die or be forgotten in like a while, just because that's how like much it sticks out. And the rest of the soundtrack also definitely sticks out as well. I was also gonna mention earlier, not really an official OST, but more so a group of music, and that I have to give the spotlight a little bit to just a random assortment of like memorable, nostalgic Wii music songs. And I'm not just talking like the Wii channel theme and all that. Like just there's a lot of soundtrack. Like I often see like many YouTube playlists where it's like nostalgic Wii music, and it's like the Brawl theme, a lot of the Mario Kart Wii songs and all that, and a bunch of also GameCube songs as well thrown in there too. But it's just kind of funny like how there's like full blown dedicated OSTs and playlists and all that dedicated to just random assortments of Wii music, especially Wii games as well.
Yeah, not gonna lie, I honestly thought you said weeb.
Weeb? No.
I was like,
That's a talk. That's a
I
talk
was
for another
like,
day. We'll
an
go to.
assortment of weeb music. Like what?
that'll be a topic for another
Well,
night.
yes.
My
It's
God.
like you calling out the anime industry or what?
Well, we'll get there eventually.
I mean, there's
My Lord.
there's certainly songs like that. Well, and to be perfectly honest, like when it comes to music, it's very like I'm not like I like a lot of music, but I feel like I'm not as big of a music fan as those around me. Like I have a very limited number of like bands I listen to and singer songwriters that I listen to, but I and so I give a lot of props to any like piece of music I hear in a game where I can like remember it afterwards, where like I can like almost hum it note for note afterwards and really sticks in my mind. And I think one of the few like I don't know if any of you heard of it, but there's this beat 'em up called River City Girls, which it's like a new age version of like the classic beat 'em up genre, but it's almost goes into those weeb songs because it is like this like singer singing these songs, but like every single like it would be like really catchy tunes for like the regular scene to scene transitions, but then sometimes they would just play a vocal song and that would like really like stick out to me in that area, and then you actually fight the girl who sings those songs, like the pop star in the game who sings those songs, and then you get to hear her like sing while you're fighting her, and it's just that I really appreciate. It's really cool, and I really like that kind of like poppy but also rock type genre.
Yeah, I mean, as long as because I'm not like one that's confined by genres, but it's like as long as it's good and it fits, it goes okay. Like there's some games where you're sitting there and my God, some of the soundtracks go hard, and you're like, man, why is this such a bop? Like
I'm just playing Tetris. My God.
like it had no right being that good, but like it just is. And you're like, man, like I did not expect this at all, and it's like it's one of the undervalued parts of gaming is being able to listen to a good soundtrack that fits well with the setting.
Yeah.
And people greatly undervalue that. Like whenever I hop into a game, I do turn like the music settings down a lot. That's because like I want it to be nice and in the background, and also because a lot of the times I talk to other people or maybe whatever. But I do still listen to it. I just don't want it to be overpowering. So it's kind of like a nice ambiance for me while I'm gaming. But some people, I guarantee, they go right in and they're just like, mute the music. I don't want to hear it. It's like, how could you do that? You're doing this game a great disservice.
That's weird to me. Definitely, music is a
part of the
very
experience.
important part of like the gaming experience. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, imagine playing okay. I was about to say, imagine playing Pokemon with no sound, but like back in the day, you kind of had to do that if you were around people, because then they'd all look at you, and be like, "Turn that down." It's like, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can. Out of every game, I can easily imagine that one playing it without sound.
Yeah, but then like
it might be the
But then
easiest.
you go back and you play it with sound, and you're in like a gym fight, like in a like uh, let's say Heart Gold Soul Silver, your gym fight, and you're playing with the sound on, you're like, man, this is a bop. Like you're really feeling it. You're like, man, I never knew because whenever I first played these games, I was playing them, whenever they first released, and it's like I never played with sound, so well, I didn't know what I was missing. But then you go back and you're like, dude, I missed out on this gem right here. It, I mean, I guess sometimes you just don't know what you're missing until you go back to it. But nowadays, like modern AAA titles and stuff like that, if you go in with no music, then I mean, it's cutting down the experience right there. Now, if you already listen to the music, then it's fine. You can just be like, oh, I've heard it like a million times already or whatever, or hey, it's not that great of a soundtrack, I'll just turn it off. Then by all means go for it. But don't just hop right into a game and think, I don't need to listen to the music. Like, what's the point then?
Oh yeah, you're definitely missing like a key part of that game if you just turn off the music. Yeah, that's something I really don't understand. Like
I mean,
how
people
you
literally
could do
got
that.
paid to make these, and they spent hours composing and performing and vocalizing and lyricizing these things. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
part
like
of the part. It's part of you're paying for the full package. You're paying $60 for a game. You should honestly put in what the developers,
get your money's worth. Listen
songwriters,
to the music.
get your money's worth. Yeah, they
Yeah.
design it to fit in, but I
And
want
it
people
just
will
it
be
reminds
people.
me
They'll do
of
what they want.
yeah, that just reminds me of like Dragon Ball Raging Blast 2. I loved that game. I could not imagine playing it without the soundtrack because that battle music was hype as hell. I would turn on my favorite battle music and then fight my cousin and then I'd lose, but I'd still feel good because that music made me feel badass.
Just imagine playing a Smash Brothers match without music. Like, just how all you hear is.
Oh no.
Ugh.
That's terrible. Music is such a key part if you're playing that game. Unless you're competitive, then you don't care. But I mean, why
Well,
would
you
you
got
want
other
to be
things to worry
competitive in
about
that
then.
game? Yeah,
Yeah, well, you got other things
issues.
to worry about. So then just, I want to listen to this music. But oh well,
Yeah.
they be like
So
that.
I feel like we should move on. We spent a bit of time on that.
Right, and I'm glad you brought up Raging Blast too,
Mm-hmm.
because our
Mm-hmm.
next topic, I have a feeling that was intentional to lead into the next topic of what are some of y'all's like favorite licensed video games, like not something that didn't start out as a gaming property. Dragon Ball, there's about a million. This is that you can come
Not
to.
They
all
don't
of them are
stop.
good.
No, 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 definitely not. But
Raging
some of them are
Blast.
oh yeah,
Just kidding. Raging Blast is amazing.
oh yeah, and then
What?
me and Preston are fighters. Preston, I'm assuming
Fighters is a good
it's
game.
really good.
I really like fighting games, so seeing a fighting game with characters that I like is even better.
Right,
Yeah.
and
And then
go for it.
there's
Go for it, Preston.
just like seeing characters I like will make me play a game that I otherwise would definitely not play, like Xenoverse. If that wasn't Dragon Ball, that would be a terrible game. But because it's Dragon Ball, I bought it twice and spent like 70 hours in
Oh
it.
my,
And it's still a terrible
Like-
game.
Yeah, but it's
But at
Dragon
least
Ball.
it's Dragon Ball.
Heck yeah.
I feel like that's the beauty of licensed games. It's the greatest folly, but also like an undeniable truth is like, even if it sucks, like Xenoverse has a lot of flaws. It's very simplistic. Its RNG
It's
can
grindy.
be downright atrocious. But I put like 80 hours into that game because I wanted to get all the O's, like secret hidden missions. I wanted to get all the moves for my character. I wanted to.
I want to do
keep-
the secret, or I want to do the 100 times Big Bang Kamehameha.
Kamehameha, which I got, so that was one off the checklist. But
I did.
it's like you get excited about that, and and I think like a lot of developers know that, and that's why a lot of licensed games can be very low quality because they know they don't have to try. they're
Yep.
gonna sell.
Yeah, people
Which
are
I
gonna
mean
see,
makes
oh,
it.
yeah.
Yep. And it makes it even more, better when they do try, like with fighters. Like that's one where it's like they wanted to pour polish and dedication to not just make a good Dragon Ball game, to make a really good fighting game. But I think anime, like, is there any ones that aren't anime that you guys
Yeah,
really
I
like?
have
Oh, yeah.
no clue.
Yeah, well, we mentioned Lego Star Wars earlier. That's a
Yeah,
classic.
all the
I mean,
Lego
all the Lego
games
games.
True,
They,
yeah,
they
yeah.
even put
are
they put
licensed.
some really good quality in a lot of those. Maybe because they're dealing with some really valuable IPs. They don't want to
Yeah,
mess
it's true.
them up and get the companies angry. Another one that sticks out to me as well that I had. There are two that stick out that were on the PlayStation 2 that I played a ton of with my cousins. Simpsons Hit and Run.
Hmm.
Or is that what it's
Oh yes.
yeah, dude, that game.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude.
That was
just
something
driving
else.
driving around Springfield and just being a terrorist, driving around in your vehicle and messing people up and going the wrong way when you're driving people around. It's just, oh my god, it was such a thrill. Just being Homer and just driving full throttle through neighborhoods and stuff like that, and it really felt like you were a part of the cartoon. And that's what I really liked about it, because it really captured the, kind of goofiness that The Simpsons as a show really does kind of have, in that sitcom-y, cartoony feel to it.
Right.
And definitely had some good laughs with that game.
Totally.
For sure.
Another one that go ahead.
I was
Hayden.
gonna say, to add on what you're saying, is I think the best thing a licensed game could do is make it feel like you're in that property. I think that is probably like the golden idea of most licensed games. But continue with what you're saying. I want to hear more.
And then the other one, and y'all have played it too. It's definitely not good quality, but the SpongeBob party game, Lights Camera Pants.
Yep.
Oh,
Like,
it's quality
it's-
when you're
it's-
with friends.
Yep.
it's quality when you're probably it's probably really enjoyable, intoxicated. When you're sober and
Oh,
playing by
yeah.
yourself,
Uh-huh.
you realize how much it's aged.
Yep.
But you want to talk about a game that really feels in like seriously, some of those mini games y'all have played it.
Yep.
Definitely feel like they could be actual full-blown episodes of the SpongeBob show.
Oh yeah.
And like, my god, they're just so fun. So, like, honestly, I think I've had more fun with those in like total. Like, I think I've had more laughs and stuff like that than I've had with the Mario Party mini games. And the Mario Party ones are the actual, SpongeBob is a great value, the Hill Country Fair version
Yeah.
of Mario Party. And yet, honestly, I think I've had more laughs and smiles and giggles playing SpongeBob with y'all than I've had playing Mario Party
Oh, yeah,
my
and
entire life. Like, oh
Yeah,
my god, it's just so much fun, so wacky, so goofy, and that's what the original IP is. It's SpongeBob. It's wacky, it's goofy, and throw out some lols, get some good laughs in. It makes absolutely no sense sometimes.
That's the show sometimes.
But hey, that's what SpongeBob is, and I definitely feel like that game encapsulates that wackiness.
Yeah,
that
and
the
I
show
definitely feel like we wouldn't
does
have gotten so into it if it wasn't SpongeBob. Like, we'd just be like, oh yeah, that's just some random game. But the fact that we get to play as
Yeah.
SpongeBob and Squidward and Mr. Krabs and a little bit meme off of those. Yeah,
You're in the
yeah.
actual Bikini Bottom world, and they have all the themes and worlds and the side characters. Larry the Lobster,
Yep,
and
yep.
the Flying Dutchman appear, and all that crazy nonsense.
Bryce, you got?
An
Oh,
actual
go for it,
good
Preston. Go for it.
SpongeBob. A good SpongeBob licensed game, Battle for Bikini Bottom, which is
Mhm.
a really good
Yeah,
platformer.
that's a classic,
Right. That got a remake recently, didn't
Yep.
it?
It did.
rehydrated.
Well,
I have not played the remake, but
it's weird because
is
I
a
think
good
they
game
left in
that I
some
have
of
a lot
this,
of memories
like
with.
some of the same bugs as the original. But like
Oh
it's
my
like
lord.
it's like glitches that is, but like they aren't game breaking. It's just like these minor glitches that people thought were funny or some shit like that. They just left them in, I think.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, at least you're faithful to
You
the
know
original.
what? That might be for the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be for the best. Keeping it the same, just with an extra coat of paint.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm,
it-
yeah.
I mean, it was a good game almost 20 years ago. I'm sure it's a good game
Yeah.
now.
Still a good game now. Heck, people speedrun that pretty often, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I've seen the speedruns, and they get pretty insane.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I mean, best licensed games. I honestly don't know because I don't play a lot of licensed games.
Well, there's
Like-
all the Telltale games.
I don't
Some of
play
those are
those.
Okay.
I've never played them. I've watched some playthroughs of some of them, but I've never played one. I've never touched it. So I don't really know what to expect. The only thing that I can think of is what I've seen. And I remember I've seen my cousin play a lot of those Sword Art Online games.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
I thought to myself, and I'm like, why? Like one that comes to mind is I think it was like Hollow Realization or something like that. And you know, all the weebs are always like, oh yeah, what if we had a game like Sword Art Online? It's like, you ain't getting it, bro. Trust me. All right, what you
don't want it.
is to be a degenerate in an augmented reality world. You can't, okay? You're stuck with your, crappy little Oculus Rift going like, ooh, grab. Like, no, stop, okay? You're not getting the Sword Art you want.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to the original Battlefront 2. I'll throw that out there real quick.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
licensed.
Star Wars
game.
has a lot of good licensed games. But Battlefront 2
Rogue
is probably
Squad- have you
one of my
played the-
Battlefront 2 is amazing.
You ever
Wait,
played the
the
Rogue
original
Squadron?
Battlefront 2?
Yeah, definitely. Not the,
That's what
not
I
the
Okay,
EA.
because I was about to say, like, Diego, I know
God,
you.
no.
You're not talking about the new one.
I've heard the new
God, no,
one
I
is.
think I put in like 30 minutes into the new one.
I've heard the new one, like, after it got a bunch of, like, updates and stuff. It's actually really good now.
Yeah, but I mean,
It
I
took
still prefer
updates.
the
It took
original.
complaining for them to actually fix it as a problem.
Well, I feel like
So,
Star Wars.
Hey,
Oh, go for it, Diego. Sorry.
I just said like it took years of complaining for them to finally fix it. Whereas, hey, the Battlefront 2, the campaign for that was so rushed. Jango Fett / Boba Fett's actor said that they asked him like literal months before the game was supposed to come out if he could come back to voice the narration for the 501st Journal campaign in that game. Look at how iconic it is. Like, I freaking love that campaign and all the hidden, well, now it's non-canon lore behind the 501st and all that.
Yeah, and then you play multiplayer, and
Beautiful.
I love the multiplayer. I remember running around as Yoda and destroying
God.
Russell
Bastard.
because Yoda's hitbox,
It was like
his hitbox was so
2
small.
feet, it was like an inch off the
Like,
ground.
you can't fight against him. I was in the swamps. I can't remember what that world is.
Dagobah.
And I was up against Russell. I was down to 1 life, and there was me as Yoda, and Russell had like 30. And I beat him because he couldn't see me.
He's so
coming.
mean. He's so rude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's such a
2-foot
small little booger.
bastard.
It's like,
Yeah. Russell was just getting so heated because I just completely swept him. And I was like, hey, man, it is what it is.
Some intense lightsaber battles.
Yeah.
So good.
I mean, I will admit, those lightsaber battles were a little
Oh, they
little
were so
lackluster.
Oh heck
It's
yeah!
like, hey,
it was so cheap.
Darth
Yeah.
Vader
Spam
and
the
Luke
trigger buttons.
Skywalker, they run on Hoth. They
Yeah.
just run from opposite sides of the map, meet each other in the middle, and then the fight's over in a second.
Yeah,
It's
because
like,
whoever threw their lightsaber
anticlimactic.
first won. That's
Yeah,
but
you
it
gotta
was
throw
still
the
fun.
lightsaber, and then once you get it back, then you start jumping into your
And when they're in
lightsaber
hit
stuff.
stun, when they're in hit stun, you just slash the heck out of them. But still,
Yeah.
so much fun.
Yeah, it's so great. I love that game so much. I especially love the Galactic Conquest.
Oh, those
Where
take
you-
forever, but they're so fun.
Oh, I swear, the first one is always the hardest. Like, the first fight is always the hardest because you have no special
You have
units.
just the basic infantry,
yeah, and
basic
it's so
blasters, and
difficult.
it's so so one. It can get really one-sided really fast.
Yeah.
Especially some of those maps are not. They are not fair at all for some sides.
They are
depending on who
not.
you are.
Oh god.
There's some where it's like, yeah, they just win.
like Geonosis. Oh,
On
I swear.
Endor for when you're the Empire is miserable.
Yes, dude. Endor's
The Ewoks can
terrible.
capture the outpost, and it's like, oh, thank you, that's lovely, just what I wanted.
Yes.
Ay, ay, ay.
But such a great quality game, even though it's so old.
Oh, definitely. It's still
Oh, yeah.
stand the age of time. But yeah. So I
There's
guess
also like
go for it, Hayden, Preston.
there's also like Coder. There's Republic Commando,
I completely
There's-
forgot about Coder. Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
Jedi Academy.
Preston, you're
Star Wars has a
saint.
lot of good games.
They do. The Rogue Squadron games have some really good dogfighting.
Where's my Coder 3? I'm just saying. I'll
And
buy
as
it.
silly as the concept was, I played Force Unleashed. It's just a fun
Oh?
hack and slash. Not on the Wii. Let me make that clear. It's not good on the
That's
Wii.
all I've played.
That's how I played it. Not good. I've gone back. But on other systems, it's pretty darn fun.
Alright, Hayden, I played Call of Duty World at War on the Wii, okay?
Oh my God, Lord!
Ne-
It was so weird.
Gosh.
And I beat that game, okay? I beat it.
Yikes!
I know for a fact that I beat Force Unleashed as a child on the Wii. I don't know how I did that.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I could do it today. I really don't. I tried playing it with the Wii, and I'm like, no, this isn't what the trailers were.
You should give it another try, Hayden.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I just need to open my eyes.
You get to swing your nunchuck around to force
Oh,
push
God.
or whatever.
Oh my. Ugh.
Good
Sounds
Lord.
absolutely awful. Why was Wii gaming even a thing?
I think games that were
Money.
built around that system worked great. Anything else?
Yeah, but why would you port Call of Duty?
Yeah, any AAA
Yeah,
any
that's
AAA
not-
cash grab game definitely did not stand a chance.
They even had like that little thing. It was like a little gun that you could put your
Oh, yeah.
nunchuck and your
Yep.
Wiimote in, so
Oh
you could
my
have a
God.
gun and shoot. Yeah.
Oh yeah. The Wii Zapper.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing stuff.
Why?
It was great in Link's crossbow
Some
training.
amazing stuff there.
Not so much in.
I mean, if you want to play Call of Duty,
Oh.
I guess. I don't know.
Go for it. Why not?
No.
Fork over some money for a worser experience.
Matter of fact, just don't even buy the Wii at that point. If you're gonna use it to play games like that, it's not worth it.
That's not why you get a Wii.
You get it for Wii Sports.
Yeah,
Wii
all that
Sports
fun
and Wii
jazz.
Sports Resort, obviously.
Oh,
it is your Nintendo machine. That's it. You're there to play Nintendo games, nothing more.
Yeah, like your Wii U was your Smash machine.
Yep.
Mm.
Well, my Switch is my Wii U machine now.
My Switch is a paperweight that
Hey.
looks nice, okay?
Heck yeah.
Play Smash.
I play
I
on
have a lot of games on the
Diego's.
Wii U.
Yep. Well,
Like, I don't even. I mean, it sits there in front of my TV and it looks nice because it's the Smash Ultimate.
edition.
Smash Ultimate Switch. So it just sits there and it looks cool, but I never
Yeah.
use it. Because why would I? I mean, I just go to the living room and there's a perfectly fine Switch right there. So it's like, okay, might as well use that.
Well, it's like the thing I feel the worst for is like when it comes to the Wii U, it's like at this point everything that was on the Wii U and everything notable is now on. Yeah, well, I mean, give it a
The Zelda
minute,
remakes.
Preston. It's like all those are now on the Switch.
I'm waiting.
They have more content and they look better. So it's like at this point, Nintendo just do everything. Just make everything that was on the Wii U available for the Switch. Because now it's like you've gutted that system of everything of its value. It's like any hidden gem on it. It's like, well, it's not worth it. It's not worth getting the cables out to plug it in.
Yeah, I mean, Might as well just start porting those GameCube games to the Switch.
Yeah,
Make it
eventually.
easier for everyone, as opposed to saying, "Hey, yeah, play Melee on your old TV, on
Yeah.
your old GameCube."
Well, and I wish I don't know how the Switch is doing it now, but I'm really not a big fan of their subscription service.
Yeah.
Like to play the NES and SNES, it's like I'm just like, in general, I'm not the biggest fan of subscription services because I'd rather
Say you
like
own it.
own something forever than own it while I can pay the $5 a month. So I don't really see myself using it all that much. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know if a lot of those games are available in store, but I don't know the whole deal with that. I'd probably have to look into it a bit more to fully comment on it, but I don't know. Not the biggest fan.
Yeah, it's something else about that. But anyway, guys, I do think we are unfortunately out of time for tonight. It's been quite a very much more versatile discussion than I thought it'd be. But yeah, we definitely talked a lot about gaming. Definitely threw out some really hot opinions out there that will, be out there for the public to see. But
That
Yeah.
we will keep from Russell.
I'm glad we
Well,
buried that 40
until
minutes.
he
You won't
uploads it
watch
to
it.
YouTube.
You won't know.
But hi there, future Russell. But that'll have to do it for tonight. So it's been Bryce, Preston, Hayden, and Diego, and we're gonna go ahead and sign off on the Goonies podcast for tonight. Take care.